Every year, an estimated 2.2 billion tons of waste is dumped into our oceans. In the last 200 years, we have added 2.3 trillion tons of carbon dioxide in our atmosphere. There are so many problems in the world we live in today. We cannot be sure of anything, from the water we drink to the air we breathe. Drought, global warming, poaching of rhinos, blue whales, and other animals. There are so many things that need to be investigated and solved. But today, we will be explaining one problem in specific. It affects numerous populations all around the world. Desertification.
Desertification is a type of land degradation in which a relatively dry land region becomes increasingly arid, typically losing its bodies of water as well as vegetation and wildlife. It is the process of fertile land becoming into desert, typically as a result of deforestation, drought, or inappropriate or improper agriculture.
Desertification occurs when wind and water erosion aggravate the damage, carrying away topsoil and leaving behind a mixture of infertile dust and sand. It is a mixture of these factors that transforms degraded land into desert.
Desertification is a big problem right now, especially in Africa, which holds 37% of the world's arid zones. The impact is also severe in Asia, which holds 33% of these zones. Degraded areas include the sand dunes of the Syrian Arab Republic, the steep mountain slopes of Nepal, the deserts of Australia, and the deforested highlands of the Lao People's Democratic Republic. In the Americas, there are deserts that stretch from southern Ecuador along the entire Peruvian shoreline and into northern Chile. Italy, Portugal, Spain, and Turkey all experience desertification.
Many areas that are affected by desertification are in dryland areas. The predominant feature of drylands is water scarcity, with low, rare, and unpredictable water. Dryland areas are generally very windy as there is less vegetation to reduce wind speeds. The animals in drylands are mostly lizards and invertebrates. Drylands are also important habitats for birds such as banded dotterels, pipits, and black-fronted terns.
How does this relate to the rate of photosynthesis and respiration? With low rainfall, there is not enough water to support a myriad of plants. Few plants in the environment result in a slower rate of photosynthesis. Compared to the average rate of photosynthesis, the rate in dryland areas where desertification is predominant is much lower. Animals that graze on the sparse shrubs and grass may promote carbon output from the roots, which leads to a decrease of organic matter in the soil of fragile ecosystems in arid and semi-arid regions. Experiments have proven that grazing reduced the total carbon content in the leaves of the Bistorta vivipara by 26%. In fact, the ecosystem respiration increased by 33.1% in the Tibetan Plateau. So there is an overall increase in carbon dioxide in the atmosphere. In addition, the decrease of plants results in a decrease in overall transpiration. With a shortage of rivers, lakes, and other bodies of water, there is little runoff and percolation.
With less plants in the environment, there's an increase in average nitrogen concentration in the soil and in the air as there isn't enough plant roots to use the nitrogen. The bacteria involved in the nitrogen cycle convert the gas into nitrates and back into the atmosphere.
2 billion people depend on ecosystems in dryland areas, 90% of whom live in developing countries. Now these are just numbers, statistics. How about we hear from Diramo? Diramo lives in the village of Siminto in Ethiopia. She grew up as a herder, but now the abundant grasslands that fed the cattle are gone, and the people are no longer able to migrate in search of pasture. She says, quote, "During my childhood, the grass was at the height of a person. Now the shortage of water and grass has led to the emancipation of cattle. We have nowhere to go. Our life is tied to our cattle. When the cattle are fat, we get fat. When they are emancipated, we too lose weight." She is now divorced and supports her 6 children by selling firewood.
If this continues, our agriculture will collapse and poverty will increase greatly. According to the UNEP, it also drives human displacement by threatening lives over the short term and making people's livelihoods untenable over the long term, particularly the poorest and the most vulnerable. This means that desertification will affect especially those reliable on farming, affecting all of us badly.
Don't worry, if we do something now, that apocalypse won't happen. But we need to act now. How? Well, according to the UN, ways to fix this include reforestation and tree regeneration, water management, saving, reusing treated water, and rainwater harvesting, desalination or direct use of seawater for salt-loving plants, and hyperfertilization of soil through planting, farmer-managed natural regeneration or FMNR, enabling native sprouting tree growth through selective pruning of shrub roots. The residue from pruned trees can be used to provide mulching for fields, thus increasing soil water retention and reducing evaporation.
And people are already working on solutions right now. At the local level, individuals and governments can help to reclaim and protect their lands. In areas of sand dunes, covering the dunes with large boulders and petroleum will interrupt the wind regime near the face of the dunes and prevent the sand from moving. Sand fences are used throughout the Middle East and the United States in the same way snow fences are used in the north. In areas where some water is available for irrigation, shrubs are planted on the lower one-third of the dune's windward side, and as this will stabilize the dune. This vegetation decreases the wind velocity near the base of the dune and prevents much of the sand from moving. Higher velocity winds at the top of the dune level it off, and trees can be planted atop these flattened surfaces.
Desertification is an issue today that can cause even bigger problems in the future. Unfortunately, not many people even know about it. I mean, I bet none of you even knew about it until this video. So awareness is important. The more people that we have fighting for this problem, the better. So join us in this battle to improve the environment and to reduce the effects of desertification. So thank you for watching this mockumentary, and don't forget to share this information with friends and family.